Before we dive into one of Europe's strangest and most haunting mysteries, make sure to subscribe to Crimes Through Time. And if you love uncovering forgotten legends and dark enigmas from the past, give this video a like. It helps others discover these true historical mysteries. Now, let's step into 19th century Germany, where a boy appeared out of nowhere, and his very existence would baffle the world. This is the story of Kaspar Hauser, Europe's feral child. On a warm day in May 1828, the bustling German city of Nuremberg was going about its ordinary business. Merchants filled the marketplace, carriages rattled over cobblestone streets, and the hum of conversation floated through the air. But amid that everyday noise, a strange figure appeared, a young man, barely able to walk, dressed in ragged clothes, clutching a letter in his trembling hand. He staggered through the city gate like someone lost between worlds. Witnesses described him as about 16 years old, pale, with unsteady steps and a bewildered gaze. He seemed neither drunk nor mad, but otherworldly. When approached, he could barely speak, only muttering a few broken words and repeating the name Kaspar Hauser. The letter he carried was addressed to the captain of the 4th Squadron of the 6th Cavalry Regiment, asking that Kaspar be taken in and trained as a cavalryman, just as his late father supposedly was. But something didn't add up. When the captain questioned him, the boy seemed completely confused by even the simplest questions. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know his own age. He didn't even understand what bread or money were. All he wanted, he said, was to be a rider like my father. His accent was strange, his manner childlike. He appeared intelligent, yet utterly ignorant of the world. The letter claimed he had been left with a Paula Pora as an infant and kept hidden from society, learning only to read, write his name, and repeat a few memorized phrases. Now, after years in confinement, his guardian had released him. But when investigators sought this mysterious caretaker, no one could be found. As Kaspar was taken in by the authorities, his story quickly spread through Nuremberg. Crowds gathered outside the prison where he was held, curious to see the wild boy. Newspapers called him a child of Europe, a mystery dropped into the modern world from some unknown darkness. Doctors examined him and found his body weak and pale, muscles underdeveloped, skin soft like a child's, and his eyes hypersensitive to light. He ate only bread and water, recoiling from meat or alcohol. He seemed to have lived his entire life in a darkened room. When asked about his past, Kaspar eventually spoke in simple, haunting sentences that stunned listeners. He said he had spent his whole life alone in a small, dimly lit cell. He slept on straw, covered by a rough blanket, and received only bread and water from an unseen hand. Sometimes, he said, his mysterious keeper would come and wash him, cut his hair, or teach him to write a few words. Then one day, that same man led him into the light, into the city, and vanished. It was like a fairy tale turned nightmare. Soon, Kaspar became a celebrity. Scholars, philosophers, and even royalty debated who he really was. Some believed he was the lost heir to a noble family, perhaps even the missing Prince of Baden, hidden away to erase a political scandal. Others thought he was a fraud, a cunning impostor playing on human sympathy. Despite his strangeness, Kaspar's intelligence began to shine. He learned quickly reading, writing, and drawing within months. The people of Nuremberg adored him, showering him with gifts and affection. He was taken in by a teacher named Georg Friedrich Dormer, who became both guardian and friend. Under Dormer's care, Kaspar began to flourish. But with fame came danger. In October 1829, tragedy struck. Dormer returned home one day to find Kaspar bleeding from a wound on his head. The boy claimed that a hooded man had broken into the house and attacked him with a knife. The same man, he said, who had kept him imprisoned in childhood. The attacker had whispered that Kaspar must die before he leaves Nuremberg. The city panicked. Cards were posted, and rumors swirled that powerful forces wanted the boy silenced. Was this a plot to hide a royal scandal, or was Kaspar losing touch with reality? He was moved to a new home under the care of Baron von Tucher, and later to the household of a British nobleman, Lord Stanhope, who was fascinated by his mystery and spent large sums trying to uncover his origins. Stanhope took Kaspar to various towns and even across borders, seeking clues to his past, but none were found. By 1833, Kaspar's fame had begun to fade. He had grown restless, often frustrated by the endless curiosity surrounding him. Then, on December 14th of that year, fate dealt its final blow. Kaspar staggered home, clutching his side, bleeding heavily. He told his host that he had been lured to the Arnsbach Court garden by a stranger, promising to reveal something about his mother. When he arrived, the man stabbed him and fled. A search of the garden revealed no attacker, but police found a small purse containing a folded note. The message read, "Hauser will be able to tell you how I look and from where I am. To save him the trouble, I want to tell you myself where I come from. I come from the Bavarian border on the river. I will even tell you my name, Melio." The handwriting was shaky, the meaning cryptic. 3 days later, Kaspar Hauser was dead. He was just 21. His final words were said to be, many cats, many cats." Some believe it was delirium. Others think it was a secret clue. The news of his death sent shockwaves across Europe. Theories exploded that he had been murdered to silence him, that he was indeed a royal heir, or that he had staged the attack himself and died by accident. Lord Stanhope, once his greatest supporter, came to doubt him entirely, publishing papers suggesting that Kaspar was an impostor. But others, especially in Germany, continued to see him as a tragic victim of conspiracy. For generations, the mystery lingered. Who was Kaspar Hauser? A lost prince? A madman? Or something in between, a symbol of innocence crushed by the cruelty of society? In the 20th century, science tried to solve what history could not. In 1996, researchers tested blood samples from Hauser's clothing against living descendants of the Baden royal family. The DNA did not match, suggesting he was not of noble birth. But when another test was conducted in 2002 using different samples, the results were inconclusive, a partial match, enough to keep the question alive. To this day, no one knows where Kaspar came from, or why he was kept hidden for so long. His grave in Arnsbach bears the haunting inscription, "Here lies Kaspar Hauser," a riddle of his time. His birth was unknown, his death mysterious. The story of Kaspar Hauser captures something timeless: our fascination with the unknown, our longing to make sense of life's puzzles, and our fear of the shadows that move behind power. He was a boy who emerged from darkness, briefly touched the light of human curiosity, and then vanished again into the mists of history. Was he a victim, a fraud, or a lost soul who simply couldn't survive the world's gaze? In the end, perhaps, Kaspar Hauser's mystery endures because it reflects something in all of us: the search for identity, for belonging, for truth in a world that often refuses to reveal its secrets. Thank you for watching Crimes Through Time. If this story fascinated you, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more journeys into history's darkest mysteries. And tell us in the comments, do you believe Kaspar Hauser was a royal heir silenced by conspiracy, or just a tragic figure caught in the web of his own legend? We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, stay curious, stay safe.